Good morning, our dear viewers. Welcome to the Women's Voice, a platform for women rights initiative, where we discuss issues on gender-based violence and sexual reproductive health. Mostly, we look at the issues affecting the society in regards to all that. Today in studio, I have two special guests who will briefly introduce themselves, and they've always been part of us, and they are really they really know the work that we do. They understand it, and in this episode, we are going to tap into their knowledge to on the topic we are going to have, which is menstrual health and management and its importance. So we will tap into their knowledge on as far as this topic is concerned. So they will introduce themselves in the studio, and I'll begin with Rose.
My name is Chigere Rose, and I'm a feminist. I'm a Ugandan. I'm a mother, and I'm delighted to be here today. Thank you for allowing me to come and share knowledge and on aspects of menstrual health. I'm excited to be here to speak about these issues because they are pertinent to me, and I know that they are pertinent to very many people in and outside of Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Doreen. Sorry to interrupt you, Doreen, but we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, good morning, viewers. I'm called Nakiria Brenda Dorin, and I work with Community Concerns Uganda Initiative as the managing director. I'm really happy to be here to discuss these important issues of menstrual health management, being that this is the month of menstruation. So I'm really happy to be sharing with you and discussing this to see a better change in our girls. Thank you.
You're welcome, Doreen. Welcome to the show.
Thank
Well,
you.
to for today's topic, we are talking about menstrual health management, and menstrual health. Everyone has been through this, as long as you're a female, and if you're a male, at least you've been around people who have gone through this. So I'll start with you, Rose. I would like you to, for you to explain to us what menstrual health is. How do you understand it?
Menstrual health, first of all, I want to say that it's a privilege that we are once again going to celebrate the Menstrual Hygiene Day, which happens every year on the 28th of May. And I think that the international community recognized this day because there is a deep void and gap in allowing us understand what menstruation really is. Because particularly in Uganda and in Africa generally, but I think in most parts of the world, menstruation is not something that people talk about lightly or openly, and so it because it's not given the utmost importance it deserves. In most cases, we find ourselves in a situation that doesn't allow us to openly understand it and treat it with the importance it deserves. So I'm excited that we are even opening up a conversation to openly speak about menstruation as a health issue, but as something that is normal because it comes with stages of development. So for me, menstrual health is generally the way uh, females or young girls and women go through the process of menstruating in a healthy manner, in a manner that allows them to stay healthy, to feel good about themselves, to feel that it is a part of them, and to feel that it's something that is a curse, something that is shouldn't even happen to you. For me, that's how I understand it in simple terms. And because it's a stage in development where young people are coming from childhood to become adults, our bodies change quite a lot. And one of the changes that come with that growth is menstruation, as a signal to say that you are your body is beginning to get ready just in case there will be childbirth. So that is literally what I can say, Jackie.
Thank you, Rose. The other question, you've mentioned menstrual health, and we've really got to know what menstrual health is. But then, uh, for today's topic, it's about menstrual health management. So,
Yes.
how do you define this menstrual health management?
So for me, management, in my understanding, are the things that we do to be able to stay healthy while menstruating, before, during, and after menstruation. I can give a quick example of how you would know that I am going to menstruate and what you can do about it. For example, there are a lot of things that happen to women and young children and girls differently that might show them that they are going to menstruate. For example, some of people begin getting cramps, you get a backache, sometimes you feel a headache, you feel nausea and tired, but you have not yet menstruated. So, understanding these things allows you to prepare yourself for menstruation, perhaps by preparing the products that you will use during menstruation, by allowing yourself be in a space that will give you the comfort that you deserve while you menstruate, and also understanding the challenges that you might face, or the things that might make your body a little uncomfortable while you're menstruating, so that you prepare to counteract them and emotionally be ready for this menstruation. So for me, that is one of the things that I feel is important in management: how you understand it and how you make sure that this process is healthier for you, it is easier for you, but also that the people that are with you are able to give you the support that you desire and you require to to be able to go through the menstruation. I think that that is something that I can say about menstrual health management. Yeah. Over to you, Jackie. I think we have lost Jackie.
No, I'm here. I'm back. Thank you. Thank you, Rose. Okay. Thank you, Rose. Thank you about that. So, why do you think this management of the menstrual health is important,
Well, I think
Rose?
that our viewers need to know that menstrual health management is important for three major reasons. One is to make us stay healthy, because as women, menstruation is a part of us. When you start to menstruate, you menstruate for a long period of time until when you go to menopause. So, staying healthy during menstruation or and after menstruation or before menstruation is something that is healthy, and health is a part of women. And when women are healthy, they really do contribute to a lot in the development of their families, development of their communities, but also the stigma that surrounds menstruation is literally put away. So for me, staying healthy is very, very important. The other thing is that because menstruation has been stigmatized and talked about in the backyard, like we only speak about it to ourselves, we briefly speak about it to our cousins, sometimes we don't even speak about it, we just find ourselves menstruating and that's it, and we begin asking questions. I think that it is important to talk about menstrual health management, because it allows us to go out to do away with the myths and misconceptions surrounding menstruation. There's always been a myth that once you menstruate you are ready to give birth, and that actually means that someone can marry off their young child because they have this belief that once they have menstruated, they have seen their first blood, so they can easily have children. But you also realize that we have young children that menstruate from the age of 9. It doesn't mean that if she's menstruating at the age of 9, her body is really ready to have a child. It is a sign that growth is happening, and it is steady growth, and it is a proof of changes that happen in the body. So for me, allowing ourselves to manage menstruation better reduces the myths and misconceptions surrounding menstruation. Because Jackie, 30% of the girls in Uganda drop out of school just because they do not have menstrual health products to use, and just because the schools perhaps are not providing the facilities that they desire to handle and manage menstruation. So we talk about managing menstruation. It doesn't only stop about products, the tampons, the pads, whatever it is that people use. It goes a long way into even the facilities that we use at home, in the public spaces, and at schools. At the schools, let me narrow my management arrangement around schools. So when you go to schools, public schools and private schools, you realize that there are pit latrines and toilets for boys and girls, but in some schools they don't have bathrooms, they don't have incinerators, they don't have even the spaces where the pads can be dropped and disposed of safely. And so they don't have clean water, even when you wanted to perhaps change, but also wash yourself a little so that you can wear a new pad. This is not in these spaces. And so management for a child where there's no clean water, there is no bathroom, there is no incinerator, there is no bucket where they can drop in their used pad is literally hard. So when we talk about management, it's a whole range of issues. It doesn't only stop at the pad that you're using or the product that you're using, but the things that allow you to manage menstruation carefully in a healthier way, but with dignity. So for me, I think that is another issue that is really, really important. And the third, but also last issue that I will talk about is the support. Management of menstrual health requires support from partners, support from our parents, support from guardians, support from schools, support from the teachers, support from our brothers and sisters, our fathers, because managing menstruation for young girls doesn't come easy. Young girls and women usually do not have money, they do not work, they are in school, or if they're not in school, they're also working for someone, but literally sometimes they're less paid less. So allowing them to have the right products to use at the right time takes away the anxiety, takes away the stress, so that when they are managing menstruation, they are managing it with, they have relief that they are sorted. They have relief that someone is taking care of their menstrual health needs. So for me, that's how I broadly look around menstruation and how we can manage it at different levels. Yeah. Thank you, Jackie.
Okay, thank you, Rose. I have a question here, and you've kept on mentioning about the young girls. So I was wondering what you would say to a young girl of 8 years, let's say primary levels, who's just beginning their menstruation, and given the myths and misconceptions surrounding this, because I've been in schools where we've been training these girls and they would tell you their experiences. And this person, she would say, maybe I began my period like when I was 8, but then it took some years, then they missed out like for like some time without going into it again. But this young girl is having those sexual relations with uh, with the boys, and they would think that they can't get pregnant. So how would you advise such a person on this? How would you encourage the parents, because some girls they don't get these opportunities of parents talking to them about the menstrual periods and whatnot, because I feel some parents find this topic to be kind of sometimes they can't talk about it. Like, I don't know if it's the shyness, like they are not really open about it. And you find that the early stages of your menstruation, you had no one to talk to. Sometimes you can even keep on those dirty panties on. You're not even aware of what is happening to your body. So how would you advise such young girls on being open about these issues?
First of all, I want to say that as parents and guardians of girls, we need to understand our role as parents and guardians, because girls need to have access to information. Now, we understand that the schools can have access to information for girls, but it cannot be entirely the information that they require, because as individuals, our bodies react differently at different stages of life, and our growth is different at every stage. So it is important that we begin these conversations as parents and guardians in their homes, and we give, because when you're giving health information to children, it has to also go through stages and age. So you begin by discussing about menstruation and just describing it. That can be a day over a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a relaxation day when you're having a juice at a weekend at home, and then begin speaking about this. Begin saying, as a woman, as a person, as a girl, this is bound to happen to you, and you know when it happens, this is what might happen to you, and these are the signs that you might know that it is what is happening, so that the girls begin to understand that at some point it is not yet happening, but it might happen. And also be honest enough to say that when menstruation happens and you begin engaging in sex, chances are high that you might get pregnant as a child, and that will bring these consequences, so that the children understand. We need to have open conversations that are healthy for our children, so that they are informed. And once they are taking all these decisions, because we can't stop young children from exploring. Sometimes it's hard. We want to as parents, but it's hard. But also the structure of the world, where we are so busy and everyone is running around to look for money, especially after this COVID, chances are high that you might even forget to have a conversation with your child. What is really important is to begin to speak and not expect speaking. Do not expect that someone else is doing your role as a parent, as a guardian, as a teacher, as an auntie. Do your role. Make sure that you're speaking, and make sure that that you're giving the right information, and be that person that looks out for these girls, because at this stage of their life they need us more than anyone else. They understand us more, and they are willing to listen to us, because the changes that are happening are new, and they want to explore from us. They want to listen to our experiences, but they also want to learn and unlearn from us, because their peers are giving information. The people around them are also giving information. These days, we have a lot of information that is on the internet, the right, the wrong, the worst, the dubious, and whatever it is. So, as you as a parent, you have to take on your role and speak up, but also make sure that as you speak up, it is in a manner that is I would say soft and easily understandable. Some parents are just rude and don't have time for children. And if they have time for children, they don't have time for questions. Children will always come back and forth when they want to ask questions, when they feel a gap in their information you have given. And it is important for us to listen to the children, because children have to listen to their bodies. Once we tell them, they begin listening to their bodies. They begin listening to how their bodies are reacting. They begin to understand that these changes are going to be normal. And it is very scary for a child to undergo menstruation when they have never heard about it. I
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I I,
true.
I think that would be another story for me for another day, about my experience on menstruation. But I know that the fear that I had and the feelings that it ignited into me are the same fears that other children have at that age, and so that is why I openly speak about menstruation. And I think that the 30% of girls that drop out of school can greatly reduce if they have access to information and access to products, and parents understanding that this is menstruation is not something light. It is something that we have to handle with care, with love, with dignity, so that the girls that are ushering into menstruation literally understand that it is a part of them, and it is going to live a longer period of time with them. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Rose. Doreen,
Okay.
I wanted to ask, how would you manage the whole process of menstruation, especially to these young girls, for you to have a healthy process during that period or your entire life? Because sometimes people are affected of the things they did back then it affects their cycle, and they start getting issues with that, or even getting consequences from that. So how would you manage that period of
Okay.
menstruation?
Yeah, thank you, Jackie, and thank you, Rose. Yes, like Rose mentioned, with menstruation, you have to go through a lot of processes. Like she mentioned, there are cramps first of all before you even start the period itself. The cramps come. For example, you get stomach pains. Some people get even thigh cramps, so their thighs pain. People get headache. People get back pains. So even just us preparing ourselves, we have to start from there. And how can we manage that? We can. Some people can swallow medicine like tablets, maybe Panadol, just to take away the pain or to reduce the pain. And you can also drink a lot of water. You can exercise. First of all, exercise helps the bones to easily open up so that you don't have those cramps. And then taking warm water also helps, especially on reducing on the cramps. You take warm water when the periods have come. You keep drinking that warm water. It reduces on those cramps. And eating healthy. For example, we need a balanced diet. Since we are losing blood, we have to eat healthy and eat fruits, eat vegetables, have food which has iron in it so that you keep healthy and replace back the blood that you're losing. And then also you can have small meals every 2 to 3 hours, because sometimes maybe people think when they have those cramps they shouldn't eat because maybe the stomach is paining, that you're having headaches. So sometimes you think that maybe you don't have to eat, but also eating can help you. At least every 2 to 3 hours, you eat small, and so that you're able to maintain the sugar levels. And then you avoid also drinking drinks which have caffeine in them, maybe such as tea, coffee, soda. Those ones also may contribute to more cramps. So you reduce on them. And then you also avoid alcohol and cigarettes because they are not good, especially when you're managing the menstruation. And of course also you have to keep clean, prepare yourself and know that okay, I should have enough of these, I should have enough pads around that I'll be able to use. The place for changing is also there so that you don't suffer any problems or you don't face challenges in managing it.
Thank you,
Yes.
Doreen. I would like to add something there about like keeping your body clean. You find that some girls don't even know how to shave or are not even aware that someone should shave. So that by the time the period starts, you're already clean down there. Because if you keep the pubic hair on, you may get challenges of not cleaning yourself very well, and maybe you end up getting infections. I think we can add that to how you manage the menstrual cycle.
Yes, and also something to add, especially when Rose was speaking about the myths and misconceptions. When the parents
Mm,
are talking to the girls, it is also very important for them to tell them these myths, and so that they don't believe them. Especially like when you're in the periods that you don't have to go to the garden, you don't
mm,
have to cook. Have you heard
mm,
about such myths? You're not
mm.
allowed to play sports, you know.
Yes.
At least
Mm,
the parents should do speak to their girls and make them know that it is normal. They can actually play sports. Actually, exercising really helps on reducing the cramps. So it is
mm,
important that they play, they go for sports or exercise. And then,
mm.
like, it's normal. They are allowed to cook, they're allowed to go to the garden. You know, some people say that when they go to the garden, the crops will die. That is that is wrong information. So at least
Mm,
they should allow them to do anything as long as you're in periods and you're healthy, you're well, you're not admitted maybe in the hospital. You can be able to do any activity that anyone does because it's not
yes.
sickness, but it's just a
Mm,
condition that every woman, as long as maybe they're above 10 years, can have to go through it.
thank you,
Yes.
Doreen. And looking back, you realize that most of this responsibility about menstrual health, even just talking about it, most parents have left it for the teachers and maybe institutions that come in to give maybe a lecture on it. And this has become a problem that you might find a child probably very old, and he has she or he she sorry, she has gone through this cycle many
Mm.
times, but they have no idea on what's really happening in their bodies. They can't even tell you that the process is like this. They don't even know how to pad themselves. And this would have been a responsibility for a parent who is at home, who has to take
Mhm.
time and teach this girl on how to manage all that. I don't know if
Very
while
true.
doing your work you've found such challenges of a child who has been through numerous cycles but has no
Mhm.
idea on how to help herself.
Yes, yes. Actually, you're right. Like when we go out to schools to teach menstrual hygiene management, you find girls coming to you like they tell you their experiences. The first day they started their periods, they were scared. They didn't know how to wear a pad. They saw blood and they thought they had gotten a wound, you know. And then you're like, oh my God, why didn't the parent even tell this girl about menstruation? You know, it is good for actually parents to start telling these children early enough, like in at 8 years, that
Yes.
your body is going to start changing, you're going to start developing breasts, you're going to start developing pubic hair, you're going to start developing you're going to bleed, you're going to get menstruation, and they should explain it clearly that blood will come through you, like you'll get blood, and it's not a wound, it is a normal thing. They tell them how to pad. They even teach them different ways of padding, because we don't only use the boat pads, but someone can use a cloth, you know, someone can use other things. So it is important. Actually, those girls talk about what they have gone through and how it has been a challenge, and because parents have not talked to them about this. So it is really very important for it to start from home. Parents should really tell their girls so that they don't face those challenges.
That's the best worrying part is that these parents leave this responsibility to the teachers. The
Mm,
teachers don't really, they are not the ones who raise these children, so they can't know what is really happening to them.
exactly, very
Yeah.
true. So it should start from home. It should start from home. The parents should not leave all the responsibility to the teachers. The teachers just add, they just add to that actually. It should start from home. That the children should know at least how their body evolves, and the parents should be able to tell them that.
So
Yes.
there's a time I was doing some work in schools, and I found out that some girls,
Mm,
when they start their periods, most especially in the rural places, they
yeah.
are the parents try to give them contraception pills.
Mm,
Like, I don't know, instead of talking to the child that maybe engaging in sexual acts will lead to this and this, they instead give them their contraceptives to prevent that pregnancy part. How would you advise such a parent for a girl who
no.
is just starting their periods?
Okay. So I would advise such a parent to sit down with the girl, talk to the girl and tell her, yes, now that you have started this menstruation, it shows that you're growing, or you can become pregnant at any time because you have started this menstruation. So keep yourself, abstain especially from sex. Know that when you have sexual intercourse with any boy or any man, you will get pregnant. So it means you have to keep yourself very well away from these boys and abstain from sex until when you're ready for it, or when you're married actually, because definitely for students they are encouraged to abstain from sex so that they are able to study throughout and not carry a baby when they are still studying in school. So such a parent, it's not good to give the contraceptives to this young child to prevent her from getting pregnant, but rather it is better to talk to her so that she abstains herself and she understands that, yes, at this stage I have grown, and anytime I can get pregnant. So that helps her at least to protect herself, and not just swallow the contraceptives.
Thank you,
Yes.
Doreen. Thank you, Doreen. So this is the last question. What are the healthy problems that are related to the menstruation? The healthy
Okay.
problems that can be good from that.
Okay. So there are health problems, and I actually talked about some that are minor. Of course, some get those minor challenges, like I say, they get cramps. They can get stomach cramps. You know, cramps come in various ways. We have those stomach cramps. We have back cramps. We have thigh cramps. We have even leg cramps. People get all those cramps. They get pains in all those parts that I have mentioned, and they can use like Panadol and other prescriptions if it is worse, because some people even do vomit. Like I myself, sometimes I do vomit. Yeah, and I know that it's because of that period. And once it is finished, especially for the first day, so you can vomit, but it doesn't mean that you're really sick. It is just because of that hormonal changes in the hormones, because you're going through the menstruation. And some people have abnormal uterine bleeding, which may be heavy bleeding, and they bleed so much in that they even have to keep changing a pad like every after 1 hour. Yes, sometimes if you go to a doctor, they can prescribe some medicine for that. I can't say particular medicine, but some people can go to the doctor, and the doctor prescribes the medicine, at least to reduce on that very, on that heavy bleeding. And then some people have also irregular menstrual bleeding, like they bleed this month and then next month they do not bleed. Those are irregular periods. Sometimes they could be due to some changes, sometimes due to even stress. Some people can miss their periods because they are stressed up. Some people can miss their periods because maybe they have gone to a different, they've changed the environment. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it can be due to the body changes, surely. So yeah, that also happens. And then there are also those painful menstrual period, which we call the dysmenorrhea. It is menstrual, it is painful menstrual periods when you're bleeding, but you feel a lot of pain, a lot of pain. So they can prescribe different painkillers for that person. And yeah, and after you can be well, because sometimes this pain comes maybe for 3 days or even 2 days. But if it is excessive, you need to really seek medical attention for it. And when you seek medical attention, surely there is medication that can help in that. Yes.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
Doreen. Thank you, Doreen. So I think we've come to the end of our show. Thank you for taking time to be with us here. And for those who have come in halfway, you can rewatch us on our YouTube channel, Women Rights Initiative, and uh, and also Twitter. We are there at Wari Uganda. You can watch us there. So thank you for your time, Rosa and Doreen. Thank you for giving us your tap into your knowledge about this topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too.
And perhaps my parting thoughts about
Mm,
menstruation as we celebrate the Menstrual Health Day, the International Menstrual Health Day, I would like to ask parents, guardians, partners, teachers, whoever you are, if you have girls in your community that require menstrual health support in terms of products, it doesn't hurt to donate a pad to a girl. It doesn't hurt. You don't have to. You don't have to. You might choose not to buy bread, but choose to buy pads, because pads and other menstrual health products allow us to stay in school, allow girls to study in school, allow us to menstruate with dignity. And so, my for this year, we are saying it is time for action. And time for action means that it is a responsibility for all of us. It is a responsibility for government to allow and make policies that enable the manufacturers we urge the government to be able to do that, but we also urge stakeholders, including the business people, the institutions, the companies, the private sector, to support girls stay in school. It is in our best interest as a country for girls to stay longer in school, because when they stay longer in school, they gain more skills, they gain more knowledge, they will contribute back to our country in terms of the taxes, in terms of development, but also going to have healthier families and communities as a result of menstruation. Menstruation is a basic right. Speaking about it and supporting menstruation is not something that we beg for. It should be something that is given us on a silver platter, because it is a part of our lives, and it is inherently born as a process that we go through as women and children. And so I think that the free condoms that are given to people that are going to enjoy sex and prevent pregnancies should also be a privilege that the government of Uganda should take on to provide menstrual health products freely to girls, especially girls that are in school and are struggling to be able to afford products that allow them to menstruate with dignity. Because for me, menstruating with dignity is important, and I believe that everyone would want it for their girl, for their child, for their relative, for their sibling, and those are my parting thoughts. Thank you, Jackie, for inviting us.
Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Rose, for your words. Thank you.